Welcome to Healing Through Dentistry podcast,
where we redefine health, wellness, and the power of your smile.
We're your hosts,
Hannah
and Eva, twin sisters, qualified dentists and medical doctors.
This is more than a dental podcast.
It's a journey into profound connection between oral health and whole body healing.
Through personal stories, inspiring client transformations, and expert insights,
we explore how dentistry can ignite energy, relieve chronic pain, and transform lives.
Get ready to discover the extraordinary ways your smile can heal, inside and out.
Let's begin.
Hello and welcome back to Healing Through Dentistry podcast. We're your hosts, Hannah
and Eva, and welcome to the next episode from a different time and space. And we're going to talk about toothpaste and toothbrush and everything what we use. These are the most frequently asked questions.
Definitely. It's all about toothpaste, right? And what brush, hard, soft, electric, manual, what would you recommend and what do you prefer? What do you use? So we're going to cover all of those questions and more. So welcome and get ready.
So toothpaste, are they necessary?
I'd say quickly, no. They are really not necessary. What we often say to our clients and our team does as well, because we've got a team of amazing hygienists as well on our team. And in theory, it is actually not about toothpaste. It's about how you brush and that you brush. So the toothbrush is the key and you don't necessarily need to use toothpaste.
It's about to remove the biofilm which is forming on your teeth, to disturb it. And it's just a mechanical force we have to use, and the force is very gentle. So we do recommend the brushes which are very soft, has very lot of brittles, yes, and they have small head. So that's what you need. But we can, in addition to that, use some toothpaste, which is nice and which is giving us a sense of comfort, I would say.
Yeah, but I would still stop about toothbrushes, Eva, because we can't just, fly over this topic. People often ask about, do I get manual brush? Can I keep my manual brush? Or can I actually use electric brush? God is snoring here. So I always say that I love using my electric brush. And it's such a difference afterwards when you use it, when you feel your teeth with your tongue, how much of a difference it is compared to a normal brush.
Yes, and I like, Hannah, how you compare it to a dishwasher. So if you can tell that to all the audience.
I do like the comparison or, analogy stories. So I always say to my clients, well, electric brush is like a dishwasher. You can always wash up, your dishes by hands, but how much effort and how much time you spend doing it really properly, meaning, get the shining, removing all the stuff. So I always say, what's easier? What's what people use in these days? A dishwasher. Why? Because it's easy. We just, chuck everything in the dishwasher, we press a button and, here we go. It is nice and clean. And so it's similar to brush, but I have to say that it's not that easy that you switch on the button. You actually need to follow a certain technique and you need to use it. So what I especially say to our young clients and guests, to smile guests, children, it is nice to have a electric brush, and they always like, Mom, can I have an electric brush? Yes, you can, but you need to use it. So anything you do have, you actually need to use it.
And it's a tactic, how you use it. So it's about positioning the toothbrush in the right position. And it's not that much about which brand I buy. So lots of clients, they ask whether to buy, what brand to buy. And we basically answer the brand which has a small head, lots of bristles, and
and you
use basically, and children they use.
So I feel like it's all marketing as well. It doesn't really matter what. We've tried probably a lot of them, and at the same time I wanted to just add with the electric brushing, it is important to get in the spaces you can reach as well properly. So it's about, like Eva said, about technique, about how often you brush, And also, if you're not sure, you're always very welcome to bring your toothbrush to your dentist or to your dental hygienist, and they'll be very happy to show you, based on your electric brush, what to do.
I like to say to our clients to hold it in a way that they are in between the pink and white. I like that, pointing out the colors, because we know that the pink should be your gum. It should be pink, not red. The red one indicates inflammation. So in between pink and white, the teeth are white. The children, they understand this very well, the adults as well. So this is the right technique, and all surfaces, so inside, outside, and the top of the teeth as well.
So I think that's toothbrush. So remember, toothbrush equals dishwasher. Electric brush, we do recommend it. And we see it on our clients who use it, electric brush, that they do tend to maintain their teeth much better. Definitely, 100%. And what about toothpaste?
And we would cover maybe before the interdental spaces and then toothpaste, because I think we have great results changing the toothpaste with clients. So there is a shift in between how the gums look before and after we change the toothpaste. But we will talk about interdental spaces. Well, in past, like 100 years ago, even Weston Price, he had studies that even that time, the quality of food and the nutrients were not 100%. They were not enough for us. So this time, people, they don't brush and they had healthy teeth. But these days, the lifestyle we live, it really requires to use dental brush, but also interdental equipment, which I do recommend. I like floss. We like one specific, which is very wide. It's nice to manipulate with. And or we're not that strict anymore, or the interdental brushes, because we were thinking, why interdental brushes? It's lots of plastic. Nowadays, some brands, they have plastic which is biological. So this kind of brushes, and either or, so dental floss or interdental brushes, something in between this is good.
I'm just going to jump in because we can talk about like what's better, if floss or interdental brush, because that's another big, like burning question people tend to ask us often. But I probably jump back what resonated in me and I wanted to probably repeat and talk more about is like, why was that 100 years ago we didn't actually need a floss? So if we reverse the wording and say, if all of us are going to be eating like 100 years ago, meaning what you've just said about Weston Price, who was a Canadian dentist who traveled the world, and I was trying to find why certain communities and certain people in the world do suffer by decays and why some are decay-free. So he found out that people who, and that was like in early 1930s, and he could have seen the difference already. So people who were living in communities and still not using the Western diet in terms of processed food, flour, gluten, they used to or tend to have a really good, not only teeth, but whole body. So he discovered that not only they didn't have any cavities, they also didn't have any metabolic syndromes like obesity, diabetes, and chronic illnesses like this, metabolic diseases. So that was a little bit more broad, but if we all, follow the rules in terms of no anti-inflammatory foods, no processed food. What is anti-inflammatory food actually for us? It's a gluten, it's dairy, it's sugar, processed sugar, it's oils, the bad oils, not the good oils.
And what is anti-inflammatory? It's all what is alkaline, so vegetable and all
meat, eggs. So anyway, because we do choose to live mostly I'm talking about people in a Western world, we choose to, live the lifestyle we do, even though, like Eva and me, we chose not to eat gluten and not to eat dairy and not to eat processed food and sugars. But it's not 100%. When we go to Italy, we sometimes enjoy to have
Yeah.
a proper Italian pizza.
I feel like to say the nice rule we should all have is 80-20, which is like 80% you're good, 20% you're anything, because just you want to enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. But anyway, that will take us back to why floss. Because we do eat this kind of food, and also which is more acidic and which can get stuck in between our teeth, we do really need a floss. If, for a young person who has like no problems or challenges with the gum, I'd say ideal, solution is dental floss, because dental floss is small and it can reach below the gum, it can reach everywhere in the front and the back. It is true that it takes a little practice to teach to do the technique properly.
Or you can use floss picks. This is where we start with the children. We can talk about children in a minute.
And yeah, so floss for me is number one. There are a lot of people who are used to brushing with interdental brushes. Probably you all know them, like little plasticky brushes, which we tend to squeeze in between teeth. But a lot of people hate them. I'm not afraid to use that word because it's true. So we tend to be very individualized with our guests. And at Duo Smile, if we see that floss or interdental brush work in their cases, we don't switch, we don't change, we keep it. But if we see it doesn't work in terms of we see gum inflammation, redness, bleeding, soreness,
Swelling,
gum recession, then we do recommend better options for them. So yeah, the key is to, again, use it.
Yes.
Not be aware of it, but actually practice it.
And when to start flossing with children? So I would say that, again, the jaws are smaller, and that's again about nutrition and about evolution and being in the Western or living a Western life. So the children's teeth usually, and in past we saw much more. These days I don't see that many children that have spacing in between teeth. So the teeth we should start flossing once the teeth come through. So at the age of 2.5 years, all the teeth there, even earlier, because we have a little bit less teeth at the age of.
When is the first tooth in? So people shouldn't be confused that they start at 2.5 years. No, the first tooth is in.
Yes,
a year.
Yeah, I jumped into the flossing, but at the age of 6 months, usually there is first teeth coming through. They come through all of them, which is 20 teeth by the age of 2.5, 3 years. And, as soon as the teeth come through, we start brushing them with a soft brush. So we basically do what we would do with our teeth. So once we have our teeth, we help them to brush. We help them quite a long time. So some parents, they brush till the age of 10 because manually the kids are not that skilled. But there is, you let them brush their teeth and then you help them, you kind of do a few moves for 2 minutes or even less for 30 seconds just to brush them a little bit again.
I always tell to do a smile guest to check on their children.
Yeah.
It's always, they need to always check and brush after them because obviously they'd like to do a good job, but not always every spot they can clean properly. So the parents are responsible. And it is sometimes till the age of 10, 12. It just depends on the kid.
And with the flossing, so I would start once we see a line of the teeth. So, and I like the technique of our friends' kids, which is that they would let the kids lie on them, they're just like on their lap, they bend, they kind of they lie down on their back and they relax. So it's kind of spa treatment, and they let their parents to floss their teeth. And we do recommend to use a floss picks, which is a little stick, which has a little loop at the end, which is the floss. So it's more convenient, and the children, they like to use it too. So you can buy in the store the ones which they have the handle as an animal. They're red, yellow, and green, and they love it. So they use it from the very early age, I would say 2 years, 1.5 years.
What's important to say is that you can keep using one and keep washing it out. You don't have to use a lot of plastic and use,
even with the dental floss, right?
Even with the dental floss, you
just
can
rinse
wash
it
out.
Yeah.
So with the small children, very important, as soon as they do have a old teeth in and you do see that the teeth are getting closer, floss, floss, floss. It's for that reason that Mother Nature developed the baby teeth much more softer. So that's why we do see, unfortunately, big decays, big holes, literally, in kids' teeth quite fast. Because it's for that reason. It is Mother Nature made them as the first set of the teeth. And they're not that mineralized, they're not that strong. And that's why, they tend to have decays very fast.
Yeah.
So flossing would save you a lot of time and frustration. It's just about like habits and consistency. And not probably even say, like kids are more prone to copy their parents. So if parents are going to be brushing, the
And
kids
flossing,
are
yes,
going to be
they're like
brushing.
they're copying, they're little monkeys. And it's bringing us back to nutrients. So supplementation for children is essential. T3, K2, omega, and C magnesium, the kind of big five. And it's essential. So now I think it's a time for toothpaste.
Yes. Shall we
Yes.
keep that for the next episode? Because this one's quite long. Or shall we just dive in? Let's keep it for the next episode.
Okay, let's keep it for the next episode.
So I'm excited for the next one because it's going to be all about toothpaste. Thanks for listening and see you next time.
See you.
Thank you for joining us on Healing Through Dentistry podcast. We hope today's conversation has inspired you to see your smile as the gateway to whole body well-being.
To stay connected, visit us on our website or follow us on social media.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could benefit.
Until next time, remember, healing starts with a smile.
Take care.
And we will see you in the next episode.